Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel.
Hope you have a wonderful day. In today's video, we're going to go through an article.
No, a news
Review?
that we read earlier. So just our thought process about reading this news. So a few years ago, there's an incident in Sydney that we used to live in there. It was on Christmas Eve.
We don't
It was
live
on
in there.
Christmas.
We
We
live
used
the
to.
area.
Oh yeah, we used to live in Sydney, but then close to where we used to live, just few stops.
Yeah.
2 stops.
One
One or
stop.
two train. Yeah, one train stop. Okay.
Within about, let's say, 5-minute drive from where we're living, there's a suburb called Mascot. Now, in that Mascot, it's a New Year, Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
There's when was it? What year?
Oh, it was
2000.
June apparently. I thought it's Christmas.
Right.
Christmas it was in Homebush maybe.
All right. Okay. So
I can't remember. We got mixed up.
Anyway, so the article goes, there was an evacuation in June, and everyone have to be evacuated from this particular building in Mascot.
It was in 2019, and currently we are in 2024, 5 years ago almost.
So within that 5 years, as soon as it was released, people moving in, and then they had to get evacuated because it's deemed unsafe due to a building defect, let's say.
Yeah.
And until now, on my last visit, I think it was like last year or so, no one was able to stay in that particular building. There's about 100 plus apartments or so.
Yes.
That is
132 residential and 9 commercial owners.
So yeah, the location of it is actually right smack bang underneath the Mascot station.
No, on top of the station.
Sorry, on top of the station.
Yes.
Yeah, so the station and then the
building is on top.
So yeah, and it was rather interesting because wondering how, as an investor or property or commercial owner, property or resident owner, how devastating that is.
I know. So it was due to structural cracking.
Yeah.
So apparently we were reading it. So there's a owner, he leased out that 2-bedroom apartment he invested in. And he bought it at $600,000 at that time. But then he did a calculation if it should be valued around $1 million
by now,
at this stage, if
now,
nothing happened.
Yeah.
Right.
So over time, over the 5 years, as soon as the construction is finished, you handed the keys. He got a mortgage at $600,000.
No, he purchased the property at $600,000.
So look, depending on the deposit, it might be different. Let's work on
just 10% easier.
Okay, 600. So let's say 10% of that, which is 60,000. The rest of them,
$540,000
is actually the mortgage. Plus admin costs will be on top. Closing costs will be on top. Stamp duty will be on top.
Yeah,
we just
so
work on 500. What was it?
550. Let's say
550 is the mortgage.
Yeah.
And that was 5 years ago.
Yes. So
handed
now,
the keys.
Yes.
The scenario is I handed the keys. Here's your keys. You're welcome to start moving in. You rent it out over 3 months, 6 months, let's say. And then it's being evacuated because the structure damage.
So it's been 5 years empty. I'm sure they got no income as an investor, right? You got no income from that property, and I assume you still have to pay your mortgage.
I would assume
maybe hold it.
I wouldn't know, but I would assume so.
If you're bank, like you maybe reduce or maybe the rate, I don't know, but you still have some sort of payment because it's not the bank's fault.
Yeah.
It's not that the owner's fault too. It is the structural building, is the builder's problem. Anyway, so now they still go through the lawsuit. Apparently there's a company willing to buy it from the owners, and they offer him, he got the sales contract for $220,000.
Now, our thought process when that happened, let's say you're buying it at 600, 550 is your mortgage. And over the 5 years, you've been paying that off. Let's assume you've been paying it interest only, which is what investors usually do.
Yep.
So interest only. So that means you still got the whole lump sum of 550 is your outstanding balance. So that would mean, and then now is the sales contract of
220.
So what's that?
550 minus 220, 330.
$330,000 you're in a hole. Now,
yep. So what I told Ronnie is that, man, I will declare bankruptcy.
So like there are certain scenarios that you can do with this, right? So
Mm.
number one, you keep it as it is and hoping that at the end of the lawsuit,
Yes.
you would they'll be able to
Maybe not
get
paying the
something.
mortgage at all.
Yeah. Number two is probably yes, you accepted the fee, but you will be $300,000 in
minus. Yeah.
What are the other options?
So it depends on the owner scenario, and I read through. It's quite detailed, saying if your household income is on above certain amount, you wouldn't have any assistance.
Yep.
If you have the
have
asset
income,
more than $1 million, you won't have any assistance as well. But the problem is in Australia, majority of the investor over. So I think the threshold of
It's
household
older,
income is
yeah.
$156,000. Sydney, man, of course, over. Second, household like asset over 1 million. I'm not too sure. Depends on the household. How long have they been buying purchase of their own home and or asset? Everyone is different, but investment should be a vehicle to finance to achieve financial
independence
creating
wealth.
Yes, creating more wealth. But if it's this accident and to drive you backward, how would you feel?
There would be a lot of stress level that comes with it over the 5 years. And I think that was one of the things I look at. Like it's great leveraging with debt with I guess just using debt as a leverage. If it turns out good.
But the thing is, you leverage using debt, you will magnify your risk as well, and you're lost.
Which is what we're looking at this kind of scenario. It's like you could be out in a hole of $300,000.
So you put what 10%, $60,000, but then you become minus $300,000. It won't happen all the time, but there is still a risk involved.
At one stage when we look at our investment property, I've seen a couple of portfolios. So guys, you probably have to lose money, and for some people, they can't even afford to lose money when they sell a property.
Yeah.
So in this instance, this like the amount of stress that you've gone through over the 5 years, and then now you've got an offer. That's including, I guess, the government subsidy assistance also. If you pass the asset test, you're still going to be about $300,000 in debt. This is one of the reasons why I would not go buy off the plan product.
Yeah, I think they bought it off the plan at that time.
So if it's not off the plan, like off the plan, if it works, if it's good, it works really good. But if it's not, So I was kind of sad after hearing that. It's like, wow, if that was us at minus $300,000 in our age bracket with our income, we will never pay that off.
No. I will just declare bankruptcy. I don't know what's the
outcome of it. But there will be a lot of fight involved. There will be a lot of fight between marriages, family members, if they're doing, I guess family members or so. There are bound to be a lot of stress involved. It might pull apart family.
I was reading another owner. Apparently, she's used to be with a partner, and then now they divorced, and they can't even legally divorce because you're still owing that mortgage, and no one willing to take over it.
So apartment living is great in essence of less hassle, but the bigger the apartment or the higher the apartment, they're bound to be a problem.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons why we didn't want to buy more apartments. But just I guess things to consider. Look, it might not happen to everyone out there. This is just an extreme scenario, but it could happen to you.
Yeah, hopefully it won't happen again.
Well, I don't know.
Safety is one, because lucky that no one got hurt.
Yep.
And then second is just financial burden.
Yeah. I mean, the worst one actually, when you read in the article, is like, hey, if you pay this in cash, you would get $100,000 to $200,000
back.
Cash back. Let's say
if there's no mortgage.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so if you buy this in cash, call it $600,000. So $600,000, and then you get back $200,000, but you wash the
You
rest
lost.
of them,
Yeah.
and there'll be less headache. No more headache, let's say, if you walk away from it.
Yeah.
The thought of it is like, ooh, so a bit chilling.
Yeah, can't think of it.
Anyway, that's just our 2 cents, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we did go through the property path. I'm sure all of you out there who is thinking of investing in property, you see all the glamorous part of it, but be mindful there is the risk involved of this.
Any kind of investment, there's risk.
Yeah, there is
but
a risk.
It just depends on your risk tolerance and if you would like to go through all this admin or uncertainty. Because for us, we did the property and we decided is not for us. If you know, if we're single, like just two of us, maybe it's okay because we got all our time. But now our time is with the kids, family stuff, and party or anything. Like we don't have time for property.
Anyway, that's just our 2 cents, guys. I mean, if you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe, comment.
See you next time.
Bye.